second love is a blessing in the way that it was in my story anyways, and in some others that I see. But it was the main reason for saying that is that after my first marriage ended, and I did a lot of healing before that marriage actually legitimately like ended on paper, I was already seeking many, many years of help to come to terms with that, because I wasn't ever leaving. So I had to get healthy on my own within the marriage. But when it actually did end at 20 years or so, I stayed single for 8 years, because when your life is that out of control and you finally have peace that you can establish in your space, it's like gold. There's nothing that you want more than that.
Yes.
And I'm still to this day unwilling to give that space away to anyone else, to decide what it's going to be, what the temperature is going to be, what emotions are going to happen within that space. It's like, but that's something now I carry within myself. It's not even my external space anymore always. But when you live a chaotic life or relationship, it's nice to have just like everything so peaceful. And I got to do a lot of work in that, on myself, and just come to enjoy my company, enjoy my hobbies, enjoy my friendships. And all my friends knew, after badgering me for way long, after several years of badgering me to meet someone new, they let it go, and I could just be free to enjoy flowing in my life. And I never was putting out the vibe that I was interested in dating or anything. And so it never happened. I was never asked out. I just got to enjoy my life and raising my kids. And I felt like that I had that beautiful gift of marriage. It was in a scrapbook. It's on the shelf. It didn't work out the way I thought, but I would never trade it, because I had come to some good health about it after many years. So I was just going to live by myself and keep real busy. I had such a wonderful relationship with my kids and my job and hobbies, like I said. So I also, Victoria wasn't never going to date or
Yes.
get married, for sure not get married. I couldn't even conceive of dating, because I had so many friends. I was good. I really was good. And I felt like I always said God lifted that need for that out of my life. It wasn't like, oh, there's something empty within me. And that's why when I met Jim, I was like, oh, I don't date. But sure, I'll have coffee or something, like kind of. I ended up starting a friendship with him, and but it was great. I was the most honest in that relationship, because I just said I'm going to stay true to myself. And because I was so young, you say young relationships are just different. I was, at least for me it was. So in my maturity, I just kept being straight with him. I'm just not interested in a committed relationship. He knew what I had been through, and he had had his own story. But I was so complete and happy that Jim or anyone else is just like frosting on the cake. Like I don't need him for babies or money or entertainment. Like I have a great life, and I didn't even know how time-wise I was going to fit in someone else. And so I didn't. I would only see him every couple of weeks or so. We would go long periods of time. So that love built and was happening despite me knowing, because I kept like an arm's distance. I was like, I'm not going to be intimate. I don't want to be like committed. And he was like completely respectful. Absolutely. Like, I understand your position, and just my heart is actually investing in you. So just let me know if it's a definite no for you, because I'm falling for you. But I respect what he was so respectful of me. He was so honest, always full communication with one another about where we were at. And that's just it wasn't like that in my first marriage. And so I really I think it all came from that I was this person on this plateau, as healthy as I was. And then there are healthy people around me then to pick from, is how I think it might work. And
I think
so my husband is a friend and a partner, and I get to have him. He's a bonus. Everything about him is a bonus, because I already had everything I needed for my life,
And Furzana, you ask about the safety. I think Debbie, when Debbie said it, like she was totally herself. She was totally honest. And I think when you can bring your true, authentic self to the table and say, this is it, this is who I am, this is what I've been through, this is my junk. And I really don't care if you like it or don't, because I'm not planning to get in a relationship anyway.
Right.
That takes away so much stress and pressure, because you really are okay. You really are complete within yourself. And it is a bonus. It is truly a bonus when you find someone that can walk alongside you. And if you get up today and you want to go to this church, that's fine. And tomorrow you want to start your own church, they're okay with that too. So it's a great feeling that I don't think I would have ever experienced until I got to know me.
Your story made me feel like I'm on the right path right now. There's a lot of pressure when you're single.
Oh, yeah.
Especially like whenever I go back to Japan, I talk with my family or like my neighbors. What they're gonna ask first thing is, "Are you married? Do you have children?" Like social expectation. It's something always tell me I'm not enough. But then
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying my solitude because I really do enjoy my solo time. And people might think it's lonely. Well, it's that journey is alone, really alone, but I don't feel lonely.
Right.
I spend
You're
so much
beautiful.
time for myself, and I have a great friends who support me all the time. But Debbie just said, some people are not feeling comfortable with a change, so I don't want to change. And then other people, they are telling you, you need to get married, like you need to change. You're not enough. Then
Yeah.
all I could think about is like, who cares? I'm never enough if I'm gonna trying to live other people's expectation. And I'm here enjoying solitude, like trying to find a true authentic self. And I'm happy with it.
Right.
And
No,
that's everything, yeah.
no,
I think it's,
and it's not just like you say you're single, but I've been through the marriage, I've had my kids, and there is still that pressure because people think that I'm a woman on my own. And culturally, it's like every time I go to England, I get that question, isn't it time? Shouldn't you put yourself out there? Shouldn't you get married again? Especially now the kids have gone, oh my God, you're going to be on your own. And I'm having the best time. I feel like, I love my kids. I love when they come back. But honestly, there's just such freedom in being in this space because, culturally, I've been a daughter. And then in our time, it doesn't happen now, but when I was growing up, you didn't leave the house until you got married. I went to university and then I came back home. I did live out, but I used to go home every weekend. so then, I got married and I was a wife and I was a mother. When my husband passed away, I was taking care of the kids and I would never have got involved with anyone because my kids were my priority. And I was like, no one's raising these kids except for me. That's it. But, and then you do get those conversations. You are asked those questions. But it doesn't matter. Everyone can have their own opinions, but the only opinion that matters to Tadao is your opinion of yourself. Now, if you feel you want to find someone, that's great, right? That's what you're looking for. But you don't have to do it because you're pressured by other people telling you, because it doesn't matter what they say. Everyone's going to have an opinion. But the only opinion is your own. And if you're feeling like you're in a good space and you feel like there's a certain part of your journey that you have to take on your own, which is what I feel like there's a certain part of my journey that I would not be here with the three of you. I would not have done the coaching course, all of this, if my focus had been elsewhere. It's because I focused on myself and I decided I wanted to do better for myself. I wanted to be better. That I am here and I'm so grateful to be here. So today, when you're ready, that person will come. You will just attract that person into your life.
I definitely think it's when you're not looking, when you're not
100%.
focused on that, and when you are focused on yourself, you are focused on self-growth, self-development, your hobbies and your things. And Debbie, you nailed it. The time is gold. It is just so precious the time that you have to discover yourself and
Right.
not to have to worry about what somebody else's needs or wants are in that healing time, especially.
If we're not rooted like an oak tree in who we are, when the wind comes and the tornadoes of another personality, I'm not saying that that person's even a tornado person. I'm just saying their thoughts, feelings, emotions are all going to vary, right? It is a wind of, wait, how are we flowing together here? So if you weren't rooted in who we are, then we're naturally going to sway and maybe forget ourselves and move to something that the other says we should be doing, even if it goes against our intuition. Or so it is to have that firm foundation. And I remember telling Jim, like, I made a promise to myself, because there was a time when the love was developing, that he asked something tough. I think it might have been like, are you dating anyone else? Or it came up that, and I was very casually like saying yes here and there. And I think it was something like that, where I knew it might hurt his feelings. And I had that thing come up in me where I wanted to downplay it, answer it very vaguely. And I was like, no, this man is gold to me. He's such a sweet, sweet being. I will not taint this relationship and start that bad cycle. If I can't be myself and honest, I don't want this. Because when you don't need someone and you're not desperate, it helped me just stick to who I am, because I knew that was going to only contribute to our happiness as a couple. So it's like it's like counterintuitive. You think, oh, I'll make it easy for them in this moment to think, oh, she's dedicated to me, because I knew that's what he wanted to hear. But no, he probably would have told me, and would today say, no, I would have only wanted the truth. You know how that feels, right? At least that's the game I was playing in my head at the time. But I didn't. I said, yeah, I'm trying to keep open. I'm not committing. And, and I had to explain. But that carries in our relationship now. And he knows, like, I have a whole independence to me. And I'm going to pick up and go somewhere with my kids if that's, like, what needs to happen. I honestly thought there would not be someone created to drop into my life with all of the storylines I had going on. And this man, like, just like I am, I welcomed his ex and her whole family, like, is family to me, and she is. And same, he was, as soon as he could shake the hand of my husband, it was my ex-husband had a hard time with that. But when he finally came around, it was like, we appreciate one another. When my ex finally got to say, if it couldn't be me, which I wanted it to be, I'm glad it's Jim. He's just so nice. And I was like, thank you, God, so that Lee could go in peace, because it's hard. It's hard to navigate all of these things. But that kind of mature love is, like, so beautiful to be a part of a relationship that's, like, in my everyday life. I didn't have that same type of best friend love the first time around. So to get that right now is, like, just a gift from God, the universe, because I was not looking for it. I resisted it for almost 10 months until I finally said, oh my gosh, I think I'm in love with this guy. It really surprised me like that, because I already knew that it was not possible to fall in love with someone. So it was like, even I, like, blindsided my own self when my kids and other people were like, he's so great. Why are you pushing him away? And I was like, I'm not. Am I? And I just kind of reflected for a few more months, and then I like woke up one day, and then it was funny because I was full blown in love with him, and I knew I would marry him. Like, because I was already formed, I just was not letting myself see it, even though our relationship was that beautiful every time we were together. So I wrote him this cute, like, I was like in high school, nerdy poem about love, and rolled it up. It might have been a Valentine's Day, honestly. And I put it on his plate in a little scroll with a bow, and he read the poem, and it said something like, and it's you, and I'm in love, and all, whatever it said in its rhymey way. Is it hanging in his office? Oh my God, the poem's right here behind me. I'm in his office.
Can I see it? I want to see it.
Oh my God, I'm going to read it to you guys. Okay, let's hear it out.
That's so sweet.
He framed it, or maybe I framed it. I don't
love
remember.
it.
Wow.
He framed it. Okay, let's see how nerdy I was. Oh my gosh. So where do I begin to tell you how much you mean to me when words fail to capture what only the heart and soul can see? Giving love a second chance was just never a thought of mine. because a person custom made for me would be an impossible find. When you caught my attention at our college reunion, our friendship began to grow, and our first date to the beachcomber confirmed that you were someone I needed to know. Every moment since then, I've been falling in love and trying so hard to resist. But the man of my dreams is right here in front of me, and God doesn't want that dismissed. Loving you has been so easy, so healing, so freeing, so beautiful and fun. And I'm so blessed and grateful for your patience when out of fear I wanted to run. You are gentle, spiritual, generous, kind, loving, adventurous, passionate, and funny. And I know without a doubt from the depths of my being that you are the one for me. So if you would be my guy, it would make me the happiest girl, more than you will ever know. I'm so in love with you, Jim Springer. I'm all yours, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Will you be mine? Oh, that's so cute. It was Valentine's Day.
How cute is that? I love it.
I was like a 16-year-old. It was so fun.
I love
That
that.
is
I love that he
wonderful.
has it
I
in his
love
office.
that.
So there's this picture of us, I don't know if you can see what it's
How
showing, but anyways,
beautiful.
So beautiful.
I framed this on our year anniversary. It's our vows, just the standard
fun.
vows, like I, Jim, take you, Debbie, to be my wife. Because at our wedding, my husband is so cute and he gets so nervous. So we know when you hold hands and face each other. He was looking at our priest, the pastor, that was saying the vows, and he was like, so Jim's looking at the pastor, right? I, Jim. He's like, I, Jim, and I'm over here, right? Take you, Debbie, to be my wife. Take you, Debbie, to be. He looked at Father Tim the whole time. So I'm squeezing his hands really hard, like, oh, he's gonna be so sad when he knows that this is what's happening. So he said the whole vows to Father Tim, right to Father Tim's eyes. And then afterwards, he's like, no, is that what I did? And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're married to Father Tim, but we'll bring it up to him later. So Father Tim was my friend. It was the cutest thing. So at our year anniversary, I said to Father Tim secretly, like, we were going to be at a function where he was going to do a blessing of wedding, like people that are married for like Valentine's Day or something, a special blessing. So I said, it's our year anniversary. And I rewrote our vows to Jim. Would you mind remarrying us? So that it's legit, because it's technically he's married to you. So we chuckled about it. So he let us renew our vows so that he could legitimately be married to me. It was just a cute thing, but
Beautiful
it was really sweet because Jim was so nervous. That was the best day of my life, getting married the second time. I told him I didn't need to be married because I felt like that wasn't a priority to me, because I just felt like I had that. And I could just be committed to him without that, But the wedding day, when I was just in so much appreciation and present moment, that the entire day, I was just in so much gratitude with everyone that showed up for us. I had to let go of the wedding details, and I used to be such a planner, and I wanted everything perfect and pretty. And we did have a beautiful wedding, but my mom had died 3 months before our wedding. And so there was a lot emotionally happening that I couldn't focus on planning our marriage. But because he was my best friend, and I knew it was just a matter of time that marriage would happen, I felt like I don't even know if I want to get married without my mom. But that was just the emotional stuff of that time. So our friends kind of pitched in and wrote our invitations for us and helped with some of the details. Jim's like, just focus on your mom and I'll take care of this, and this for the wedding. And so it all came together, and it's because I didn't have my hand in it. I wasn't overly in my head. I just got to enjoy and I had learned already enough about life to just take in that day, and the fact that we were so blessed to be surrounded by all of our friends and family. So it was it's still a high in my life when I think about marrying him. It was a very, very sweet day. Yeah, love is good, and it gets brought into our lives, and we just have to say yes. I said no for a while, but Jim was so patient. He was very patient. He said, I knew the first day I met you, I was going to marry you. And he's a super shy guy. So the fact that he asked for my number, he says, was God, because he's like, how I did that, I don't even know.
How long have you been married now?
5 years.
5 years. It's nice.
Yeah. And that love just expands. That's my favorite thing about love. Thinking that you can't love anymore, or that you've already had the most love, or you've already had one child that you can't imagine that you could expand your love into the next child, and then your heart, you don't pick and choose. It doesn't like get shared by all these people. It just expands to give 100% to that next person, and then expands 100% for the next one, and expands. Even my father, who, when my mom passed away, they had been married for their entire life, and he got remarried like a year after that. And you know what he said to me? And everybody was like, wait, how do you guys feel about that? And if you knew this couple, they were just the cutest friends. They're so honoring of their spouses that have passed, and they're just the cutest thing. But he said, you know what? When you and Jim got married, you showed me that you can love again. And I was just like, oh. And so my dad just gets to live this full, exciting life again. You know, it doesn't take away anything from my mother. If anything, he just is like gets to love more, you know, and have this partner that's going to keep him alive. I swear, keep him living. He's 82 now, and just as young as can be, like dancing and fishing with her and hiking, and like they have this life. And you know, love just when it comes, and it's a gift, it's just awesome. But I think that it's key to know who we are, so we don't get lost in that, and we just get to share that which we are, rather than changing. And that weird thing about, we hear culturally, right, too, like, well, you know, you gotta compromise. And yes, you do compromise, I guess, you know, technically. It's almost like we're told that, like, as if, like, you know, you gotta take some really bad stuff, or, you know, that it sort of has that connotation, right? And so I think, at least for me, I was like, well, I need to be more patient, more forgiving, more tolerant. I need to accommodate more, you know. But I feel like when I'm rooted in who I am, and then I met someone that was rooted in who he was, like we've never even felt close to compromising what. Like, I celebrate him, and so when we have a difference of opinion, he's like, hey, I know that this is how it feels for me, but I'm sure you have an explanation. Would you mind explaining that to me? It's like, what? Nobody ever talks so maturely. Like, I love this. Because it's always just a miscommunication, right? Because I'm never here to hurt, or, you know, or I don't intend to make you feel left out, or, you know, like, it's always a misunderstanding. It's like that with everyone. And I had come to learn that in my life. You know, if we could take the time, I always said, if we had long enough with every single person on this planet to sit long enough to hear their story and where they came from and why they do what they do and how they love or don't love, for what reasons, our hearts could only expand to understand, you know, and come to some bit of love for that being, and why and how they got to where they are today. We just do not have that much time, and I wish we did. You know, it makes me want to take more time to listen and love and learn before I judge, and try not to judge at all, really. But that if I know God is within everything created, so my job is then to find that, you know. And it sounds kind of like airy-fairy, but like, it's true. There's such beauty and to be found. So the more I focus on that, and opening up to finding that, it helps. The thing is I loved my ex-husband so much, and saw such beautiful things in him that he just wasn't even able to see. You know, that's when it gets hard. We can't do this life, like we said, for anyone else. So isn't love interesting and beautiful?
In all its forms, right? Because you said something which really touched me, because I was in that same place where, when I had my first son, I was like, oh my God, when I was pregnant the second time, I was like, I feel really bad for this child, because I'm not going to be able to love this one the way I loved my first one. And because I loved him so much, like, he was my everything. God bless my husband for understanding. But it was just, and then when the little one came, it was like my heart was overflowing. Your heart expands. It just goes bigger and bigger, and it has unlimited capacity to be able to love. And, you know, I was just thinking, oh my God, I would cry. I would look at him and I would cry, because I loved him so much. And that is the beauty of having those kinds of relationships, you know, all types of loves. And also my husband, God bless him, we always discussed that the kids would always come first. and that, once they were old enough, then we knew that we had to give them the priority, and then we would come back together. Unfortunately, that piece of it never happened, but we used to make all these plans about, when the kids grow up, we're going to do this. When the kids grow up, we're going to do that. And that never came to fruition, but that's part of life. But it was nice in the planning, and that we had each other's back in that way. But there is, and you talked about friendships. There are friendships that one of my oldest friend, I knew her when I was 11, and we can not speak for years. And then when you get together, it's like you never stop talking. You just go back to that place, almost like you were kids, and then you talk to each other, as if you'd see each other every single day. And that kind of friendship, it's beautiful, and I love those relationships. So for us singles, love comes in all sorts of shapes and in different ways. There's just so much love from your family and your friends and everything. It's beautiful. Yeah. Can I share a story about my husband, who because we're talking about Valentine's Day. So I used to go to England every year. And again, God bless him, because he'd be like, where do you want to go? And I go, I want to go to England. So I went to England, and it was about a week before Valentine's. And I was like, oh, we won't be together, but that's okay, right? I'll be with my family.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. You do your own thing. Well, he turned up on Valentine's Day to surprise me in England. Aww. I swear, my brother knew he was coming, so he said to me, go open the door. And I didn't even stop to think why he's asking me to open the door. But I ran. I was at my mum's house. I sort of went to the door. I opened it. And because I wasn't expecting him, for a minute, I didn't recognize him. Because the thought of him actually being there was, and I think he expected me to have this great reaction. And I was like, who are you? I realized who it was. And I was like, oh my God, what are you doing here? And then he surprised me with like this trip away to Italy for Valentine.
Wow. What a guy.
And so that was like, he used to do those kind of special things. And so I feel like I've been really blessed. So I don't feel I need or want for anything. And what I used to do for him, like one of the first times I had to leave him and I had to go to England, I was going for 14 days. So I wrote 14 notes. And then I put them in different places. One would lead him to the next, And then there'd be like a card or a little gift or something, or a letter and things like that. And I did that for the whole 14 days.
You have very sweet stories to share.
Very sweet memories, yes.
I have very lovely memories.
But did you say, who are you, when he showed up?
No, I can't. In my head, I was like, who is this? I swear, I know it sounds really, and it's not like we hadn't been married it wasn't like I'd been married for 2 weeks or anything. I was just looking at him like, because it didn't register that he would, I think it was one of the first times it didn't register that he would do like such a big grand gesture like that.
Like you weren't expecting him to be in England, and it startled you, yes.
It really did. He's lucky I didn't shut the door and say, sorry, no.
Tadao, do you want to have a long-term partner in this life? Is that something you're actually looking for?
Well, like just Victoria said, I think a relationship is not something I look for. But at the same time, if I'm not gonna looking for it, especially for those sexual minorities, like it's very difficult to find your partner unless you're aiming for it. In this generation, like maybe using a dating app and stuff. But I've been moving around the country for the last few years. San Francisco, that's the longest, because I've been here nearly 2 years right now. But before that, I was in Dallas for even less than a year. And then before that, LA, so I was keep moving around. So it's not helping to find that.
And now you have us three as like your sister wives, and get our schedules together and keep us happy. That's a lot of work.
Yeah. Gonna have to be a
Partner
very
would have to
special
understand
person.
your relationship with us.
Right.
I'm having a relationship with you, right?
Exactly.
Right.
That's how I
Right.
felt with Jay. I was having a one-way relationship with him last year.
I love affair with you, Jay. Yes, we all did. I hope his wife was okay with that.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But didn't we all?
But yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, I think we
we
all
did,
yeah.
we did.
I can't believe that I never have sat in my husband's office to do podcasting until today. And the two things he has framed are the poem. I mean, he has his kids up here too. But that's funny because then I was like, wait a minute, I think that's in there. That's so weird that I told that story.
It was so
You
meant
gotta
to
do
be.
something with your husband
See?
this Valentine's Day. You might need to invite the pastor.
Fun too, you gotta come in. Renew our vows at 5 years. Every year we drag our poor friend up to remarry us.
It's
How am I gonna edit this story?
Hey, it's Debbie. Join us each week on Tuesdays by clicking the subscribe button. While you're at it, give us a like. We'll see you next week. Thank you for being on this journey and keep being your most authentic self.